What car would you buy if you won the lottery? A Porsche, a Ferrari, maybe a Lamborghini? For me, I'd buy something else. Because in fact, I would buy one of these, the Volkswagen Multivan, what I consider to be possibly one of the coolest cars on sale today. And thank you to Blackwater Motors in Forge Hill and Cork for the lend of this Multivan today. And just look at it, it's magnificent. By far the coolest 7-seater you can buy on the market today. And if you, like me, you're gone beyond the stage of thinking about 2-seater sports cars, then this is certainly one of the coolest cars around. But as we'll find out, it isn't cheap. We don't have a huge amount of time with this car today, so we'll give you a quick tour of it. First things first, this Multivan replaces the Caravelle, and it comes in Ireland with a PHEV powertrain, so it's a plug-in hybrid. So you can see the charging point here. So there's no CCS, it's going to be a slower charge than we saw, say, in the Opel Vivaro E that we saw recently, but it is of course a plug-in hybrid. Now, the fact that it is a PHEV has reduced the CO2 emissions quite significantly in this car, and it has made the price much better, but more upon that later. So let's have a look around the car. This is a style version. It's got 18-inch alloy wheels. This color is called Fortana Red, and this being the hybrid version. We have your power supply here, your charging cables, and with all the seats in place, the luggage space isn't that big, but it's certainly adequate. And when you do fold these seats away, it is of course huge. It's a power tailgate on this version. So if we jump into the cabin, we can see, put away our first aid kit. We can see from right to left, it is a very nice place to be. The quality is really nice. Now it does feel a little bit van-like, and it certainly sounds a bit van-like, but overall the quality and the fit and finish is excellent. It does have the very modern Volkswagen feel. So everything is clear from the footwell. So your transmission, your automatic transmission is up high on the dashboard. So if we start it up, we can see of course your digital display, multi-function steering wheel, so we have our cruise control, our adaptive cruise control, our menu systems. Turn down to FM. And we have the infotainment system here, which of course it works with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's a wireless charging pad here. If you flip this down, we have our cup holders. This is where we start the engine. Climate control buttons are here. There are a plethora of cubby holes, storage facilities, and down here we have what is a rail, a storage box on a rail, which has trays for eating on, and this of course can slide up and down using these rails. So if we jump out, so we have electric doors fitted to this model, and this is a 7-seater version, so we have 4 individual seats and there are 3 rear seats. Now these seats are heated, as you can see, and they can slide forward and back on this rail system. There's a very nice velour feel to these seats, and as you can see on the other side, there are USB-C charging facilities in the door and trays on the back of the seats. Armrests in this a very nice glass roof, front and rear. You might make the assumption that because this is such a big vehicle that it's going to be difficult to navigate, and it just isn't at all. It's really simple because it's very square and there's an awful lot of glass, so you can see every corner. The visibility around is all very good. Plus it has, of course, a plethora of parking sensors to prevent you having car park nicks and the like. What's lovely as well is this is a plug-in hybrid, so it's very quiet and it's very smooth, and obviously we're used to this type of vehicle being diesel, so there is a nice move away from that with this plug-in hybrid. And of course it has other functions as well. It's driving down the CO2 to make the price cheaper, but it also feels quite potent too. There's 218 horsepower in total from a combination of a 1.4 litre petrol engine and a 13 kilowatt hour battery. Now the range in this is going to be, well, according to Volkswagen, 50 kilometers under WLTP. Now I would take that with the appropriate pinch of salt, but regardless of that, even if it is doing 30 or so, that's going to be enough to nip you to the shops or drop the kids to school on zero emissions. And certainly even if you don't get that full EV range, the battery is going to help drive down the fuel costs and help with the fuel economy. And of course, more importantly, in this case, it's making the purchase price much more affordable. And obviously affordable, it is in inverted commas. The entry level for this is now €55,000 for a 5-seater, and while that sounds like a lot of money, still it's quite a lot cheaper than the Caravelle it replaces. And if you want to go up the range and for a style model like we're in here with various upgrades of equipment and you know, obviously the styling features as well added on, you're talking early 70s to mid 70s. So that's getting into a much more expensive vehicle, but it is really substantial. It's a perfect family car. These 7 individual seats are really comfortable, so it's not like you're going to be comfortable even if you're an adult sitting in these seats at any point. Plus it's so versatile. I love the way the seats slide back and forth, that the storage trays slide back and forth, and plus for me it just looks so damn good. It has all of the creature comforts that you'd find in more expensive Volkswagen passenger cars, and because they've added this PHEV powertrain, it's much more refined than any of the Caravelles which have gone in the past. So this is, you know, I'm an absolute fanboy of this vehicle. Unashamedly, I would love one because it allows you to have the practicality of a large family car, be a family man, drop the kids here, there and everywhere, but still feel quite good about yourself because it's achingly cool. Okay, so maybe you were about to go out and buy a 7-seater SUV with stupid tiddly back seats. If you were, stop, because this now has to be on your list, because let's face it, it's definitely one of the best 7-seater vehicles around at the moment. Yeah, it's a bit like a van, but it's like a very cool van, and the interior is like a high-end luxury Volkswagen, so it's got to be on your list. If you're spending 50, 60 or 70,000 euro on what would have been a 7-seater SUV, make sure you try this because you won't regret it.